Hi everyone, Lisa here. Thanks for joining us today at the Graphics Fairy YouTube channel. I'm going to be sharing a easy, fun hack with you. We're going to be making some wax seals that you can use as embellishments on your junk journal pages and your other paper crafts. You can definitely go out and buy kits to make these seals. They'll come with a little stick of wax that you typically light and melt the end that drips onto the paper, and then a brass stamp that you will apply to the wax. You can definitely go that route. It's not terribly expensive to buy those kits. I just prefer to use supplies that I already have in my craft stash rather than going out and buying more stuff because I have a lot of craft supplies as it is. So watch along and I'll show you how easy these are to do. Here are a few supplies that you'll need to get started. I have some metal buttons and I just grabbed my button jar and dumped it out, and voila, I had all of these in there. If you can get your hands on your grandmother's button jar by any chance, you definitely want to go ahead and see if she'll hand that over to you, because I use those in so many craft projects. Then you'll need a tea light candle, a metal measuring spoon, or any other kind of spoon should work as well. A candle, preferably the kind that is colored all the way through. Some candles, such as this one, have a coating and then a white middle. This can also be used as well, and I'll show you how in just a minute. And possibly a cork. So the first thing that you will want to do is to light your candle. And then you'll want to shave some wax off of your candle. And I like using just a vegetable peeler from my kitchen for this. So I like to do it from the bottom, which will allow me to still use the candle if I want to. But I just get about a teaspoonful of wax off of it. Now, the first time I tried this, here is the seal that came from this candle. You can see it's lighter than the candle, and it's a really kind of a cherry red, which I wasn't crazy about. So that's when I decided to mix a little bit of this burgundy candle wax in. And once again, I just peel it from the bottom. And I found that you really only needed a little bit of the burgundy with the red to tilt it the color I want. I was really going for kind of the sort of maroon red that's in the owl's crown. So kind of wanted to get close to that color. So that's kind of the fun part for me versus, the store-bought kits that you can mix your colors and you can use up some of those candles. If you're like me, I have candles everywhere. Some of them are really old. I've had them forever. And this is a good way to put them to use. So just pile them up in your teaspoon like this and hold them over the flame. You don't want to put it right on the flame because then you might get some soot on the teaspoon, which in a couple of cases ended up in my seal. So just hold it a little bit above the flame. And you would think that this would take a long time, but it literally only takes a matter of minutes. And you can see here that my wax is already melting. And sometimes I use a toothpick to just kind of give it a little stir, or you can kind of just swirl it. So once you have your wax all melted, then you want to just put it aside for a moment. If you try to pour it right away, it will run too much and it won't have the kind of thickness. You want it to kind of have a bit of depth. And so what you can do is, once you have your wax melted and have set it aside for a moment, you can do a little test pour. And I will show you that in just a second. So also the great thing about this method is that you can go ahead and create a bunch of seals on a piece of paper or a piece of wax paper or foil would also be a good base too. And then once they're cold, completely cooled off, you can just peel them off. So that way you can just make a bunch while you're doing this and save them to use on your projects when you need them. And when you need it, you can just peel it off of the backing and glue it right to your paper. So this is a good way to kind of work out the kinks and make sure that you get some really good looking seals also, and have a bunch on hand for use in your projects. All right, so you can see that that is pretty much melted now, and I'm just gonna put it aside for a moment or two, and then I will come back and show you how to pour it. Okay, it's now been a minute, but I wanted to show you first, this is what will happen if you try to pour the wax too soon. It will just run very thin and not give you a good result. So definitely let it rest for a minute or two, and then you can do a test pour, and I'll do one right now. Just gently tip your spoon, and you want it to have a little thickness. I'm going to give this just another minute more to cool because that's a little thinner than I would like. Okay, it's been about a minute more, so now let's give it a try, and you want to kind of tip your spoon and try to get it into something of a circle. That is not a circle, but I will coax it into more of a circle. You can just kind of go like this. All right, that's going to be a big seal. Now let's talk about the buttons for a minute. So these have stems on them so that you have something to grip, and you can just dip those right into the seal. Or last week we carved some corks, and I went ahead and carved just a circle out of this one, and this button fits perfectly inside. So I'm gonna go ahead and just glue the button onto the cork. If you have a button that doesn't have a shank that you can grip, then this is a way to make that work, and also give this seal that sort of, they always had kind of a round circle around them. So there, just like that. So now that the wax has set up just a little bit, we are going to take our button and cork seal and just press it down in the middle of the wax and lift it up. And voila! I'm gonna let that dry, and then I will peel it off and apply it to my image. So while you have all of your supplies out, you might as well make a bunch of these. I've gone ahead and made quite a few here. You can pop them in the freezer, and that will help make it easier to peel them off of the paper. You could always do them right on your paper if you like, but I just like to have the option in case I make a mistake that I can, you know, save my paper. And you can also pop your stamp in the freezer in between. It will make it a little bit easier to clean off, but usually the wax just pops right off in one chunk. So here we go. Let's go ahead and peel this one off. There we are. And you can just put it right onto your document, or you can add a little ribbon, which sometimes they did. You can do a little ribbon like this and put your wax seal like that. A lot of fun things that you can play around with. And then I just like to glue them down just with some clear craft glue. Anything will work, really. Just give it a little squirt and glue it down. So that's all there is to this quick tip. I hope that you guys give it a try. It's really fun. Oh, I just wanted to mention about these images. These are all from thegraphicsfairy.com. They are free images. I combined 4 of them. There's a dictionary paper, a French document, an owl, and a crown. I put this together in Photoshop Elements, but you can definitely just print them out and You know, you'd have to scale them correctly and then fussy cut them and glue them down to make a collage as well. But if you're interested in these particular images, I will put the links in the description for you. So please give this a try. I hope that you like it. And if you do, please be sure to give the video a like, please, please, please. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to get a notification every Friday when we post a new video. Take care, everybody. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye.